everyone. Very glad to see you here. I hope you are okay with me taking today's session. We had, let's say, we changed the days this week. Next week or this week, Sharu took the Thursday session, and I take the Friday session. So don't wonder that it's me and not Sharu today with you here. And I know some or many of your names I know, and I'm looking happy to see you. Some of your names I don't know so far. And so I don't know if you are aware that in my session, I normally bring a question along that I send out to you and that I'm very curious on your answers about. And today, I would love to talk to you before we go into meditation afterwards. I would love to have your thoughts, ideas, and experiences around the question, what, or let's say, how do you define consciousness? What does consciousness mean to you? And feel free to take a moment to think about it. Feel free to unmute yourself if you want to share verbally talking, or if you want to share in a written way, feel free to put your answer to the chat. How would you define consciousness? Yes, please, Sreedhar, share with us. Please unmute yourself and share with us.
Yeah, consciousness is the feeling without any filters,
Mm-hmm.
no pre-bias, and then whatever the inner self says, that would be the consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, people say if you have consciousness, you wouldn't go wrong.
Right. So, do I get it right that this means it's for you? It is connected with your intuition. Is that
Inner self.
somehow linked with each other? Intuition and consciousness?
Yeah, it is mainly connected to the inner self,
Mm-hmm.
and then the inner self without filters can see the world as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose if I look at somebody and then I have a pre-biased opinion about that person
Mm-hmm.
because of my experiences, previous experiences, that's not my consciousness which is saying that.
Mm-hmm.
So if I am if I'm talking to my inner self and then the inner self says, look at the person as she or he is, then my consciousness is coming and then telling me the truth.
Right. Right. So, in a way, your consciousness is also taking away the filters that come from experiences and pre-bias so that you can see the person without the bias. Is that what the consciousness is aware? You're aware of the filters and take them away? Is that an aspect of the consciousness?
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, when you take out the filters, that's when consciousness comes into picture.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you so much. Archana, please share with us, how do you define consciousness?
Yes, I mean, like in a layman terms, like when I use this, like, okay, my conscience doesn't allow, So for me, it's like there's a different kind of, I'm not different, sorry. There is something within me, the real me, which kind of guides me what is right, what is wrong, what has to be done. So, and I usually, go as per it, uh, whatever it's saying me. So it's someone like, for me it's more of like the actual me, or some kind of a being, my own being within me.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually rely on its voice or its whatever it has to say to be. So for me, that's like a literal term of consciousness. Yes.
Thank you. Do you have a thought around how you differ between consciousness and intuition?
I think there's a difference, but I'm not really sure how to explain that. But I'm sure there is a difference. Yes, there should be a difference. There is a difference, but I'm not. I'll just think over it, and meanwhile, others can take chance, and then if I get some clear idea, I'll surely share this.
Amazing. Thank you, Archana. Thank you for sharing.
I think the pure consciousness gives you the clear picture. That's what we call it as intuition.
Okay. So consciousness is the ground where intuition grows. That intuition grows from.
Yes. Yes. So if I know the situation, and then if I have the complete idea about that situation as it is, if someone is doing wrong, I know they are doing wrong because I know what's going to be the end result of it. That's because I have the complete idea as it is. So that's what is consciousness. Consciousness has the complete picture of what is happening with the current situation based on the current, the present behavior or experience of that particular person. So I always take this example. If someone is going on a bike and then the road ahead is a patchy road, and then at that speed, at that particular time, if you look at that bike, you are sure that bike is going to fall. But there could be a lot of decisions in between. So the bike can slow down or take a right or left, or that can so many possibilities are there. But at that given point of time, when I look at that situation, because of those facts which are happening, my consciousness says that this is going to be the result, because it can calculate with a pure mind. So that's what I call it as intuition, based on the current facts.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a very clear example on how you see these things and how this makes sense to you. And thank you for the example as well. So there are some messages in the chat as well, and I would like to read out those as well. Which is, Kiri just wrote silent in combination with consciousness. So for Kiri, consciousness is connected with silence. And Anita, Doctor, would you like to share with us first before I read the next messages from the chat?
Yes, ma'am. I think consciousness, it is what? It is an spiritual intelligence that allows us to increase capacity for acceptance, to increase the ability to enter into the spiritual state of consciousness, ability to invest everyday activities, events, relationship with a sense of positivity, ability to utilize spiritual resources to solve problems in living. And I think it is a basic component for a spiritual journey. Thank you.
Thank you. Very beautiful. Would you say that the way you explained your examples as well, that consciousness is the awareness of, let's say, the bigger picture of life, and from there having the awareness of meaning of everyday life tasks, meaning of oneself in life, and in this way bringing up the possibility for the spiritual journey? Would that go along with what you said, Anita?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. That was really...
Jana?
Yes.
Sorry. I
No
dropped out.
worries. You go.
So I just got I was just thinking about it. So for me personally, intuition is like some kind of a deep gut feeling, and it just come randomly, and it doesn't have any particular reason. I mean, reason behind it. It's just like okay, something has come up, and it's pretty strong. It comes suddenly and it comes strongly, and then you just feel like doing it. Whereas consciousness is nothing but usually it's that constant awareness, okay, this is good or this is bad, or some kind of a facts, which has some reasoning behind it. Whereas as is art, like intuition, for me it's like it comes suddenly and then like a gut feeling, and it has no particular reason why it is there, why, but it's just like, okay, it is there, so I'm going to follow it. So that's what intuition is for me.
Thank you, Archana. That's a really beautiful way of differentiating it, I would say. And what I strongly hear from you saying is that intuition is randomly and at certain points in time, and that consciousness is something quite stable and underlying that is accompanying you when you reached that level of consciousness. Is that what I hear from what you said?
Yes, absolutely. It's just that earlier, like when we come into the spiritual path or during a meditation, or it can be not exactly spiritual path, but like some have this deep connectivity or awareness with this consciousness, because it's there for everyone. It's just like how we connect and to what level we connect with it. And this connection, like these meditations and all these things are just a tool to connect to that the consciousness which is ever present. So this is what is my thoughts on it. Thank
you. I think that makes a lot of there's a lot of clarity, makes a lot of sense, I would say. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Kitty, you did unmute yourself, and then we had a bit of a overlap. Would you like to share with us?
Something like a deep sleep.
A deep sleep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the consciousness.
Consciousness.
You're lost in the sleep.
And how would you define this sleep? Because I find the word sleep very interesting in comparison that we have also talked about consciousness having to do with awareness. So how would you describe the sleep for a person?
Sleep, I would say, if you go into meditation again, you're only concentrating on breathing, right? Nothing else. So that's consciousness for me.
Okay. So it's
meditation is consciousness.
So it is kind of a focus.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. We had another interesting question, and I really like that because that is a question that is accompanying me as well. And the question is consciousness, isn't that awareness? So what would you say? Is there a difference between consciousness and awareness? Can we be consciously aware of something? Or isn't that possible at all because it is the same anyway? What would you say?
I would say if you are awareness, then you're not consciousness. Because you're thinking of something. Don't think of something. Just consciousness is like a deep sleep, I'm saying. When you're doing meditation, you're lost in, you forget everything. You just concentrate on breathing and nothing else. So to me, that's consciousness.
Thank you, Kirti. So awareness has to do with being aware of something in the mind, whereas consciousness comes from a different source than the mind.
Mind has to be, to me, that particular mind has to be empty.
Okay.
Not full of everything. Mind should not have anything at all. No thoughts, nothing. That's a consciousness. To
Great.
me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Vindhya, would you like to share with us?
Yes, Jan. Very nice discussion. And yes, I like the way you make us think, awareness, sleep, consciousness. Is it the same? What is different? Very true. For me, I believe consciousness is mainly being aware. And like I said, it is being aware that you are that and not just this body. And when we meditate, we connect with that consciousness. But if you just see, I feel most of us, many of us, don't live consciously in our daily lives. We just go about it, robotically. We just do things. We are not even aware what we are doing, or aware of the beautiful nature around, or anything that's going on around us. So living consciously is being aware. So that's what I'm trying to point out. When you do that meditation, you get that connection, and then you're aware, being in the moment, also being, everything that's happening, not being in that mental state of past and future.
This is very interesting because thank you so much, because this is where it indeed very much connects with what Kirti also said, because conscious awareness, if I got you right, is something that is not a cognitive awareness. And because cognitive awareness is connected to the future and the past somehow, but you are in a state of awareness of the moment.
True, exactly. Right? Connecting with what is, and not what is past or what is future. So I think being in the moment and knowing also, I think maybe it has to do more with intellect than with the mind. I would say something like that.
Great, thank you. So that is that's really a great insight that I take with me from the whole discussion so far, that consciousness is awareness of the present moment. Just like Kitty also says, the awareness of the breathing, but not in the cognitive way, but on a maybe intellectual or maybe even deeper way. And then awareness is consciousness, but the normal cognitive awareness of tomorrow and yesterday, of biases, of experiences, this type of awareness is not consciousness. This is a different type of awareness. So yes, that's great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vindhya. It's amazing. We have some more comments on the chat, which I would like to share as well. Just as you also said, Vindhya, consciousness is knowing that I'm not just this body, and being in the moment and being aware of the present moment. Yes. So I think the word knowing is the tricky part in this, because it's not a cognitive way of knowing that I'm not just the body, but it is a deeper level of knowing that. It goes far beyond the mind. Nita says no thought state. Yes, that's what we also said, that you can disconnect from the stream of thoughts, from the mind. Oh, and we have a beautiful description here where Sreedhar says, consciousness is an inner flow. Awareness is a window. We can be aware of anything. However, if we are consciously aware of something, then it leads to deeper understanding. Great. So you also say that not every level of awareness is consciousness, but when it goes to this deeper level of understanding, then it is consciously aware. Beautiful, Sreedhar. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I am really inspired by this beautiful discussion. and also how we differ between consciousness and awareness. And Nita wants to share as well, please.
Oh, no, I actually want to know, can you give an example? I think that will stick better.
An example on
consciousness.
I would say, as my understanding also develops further in this discussion here, I can try to give an example, and everyone who added to what we discussed so far, please correct me and add on it. So what I would say, going to the example of Kirti, then it would mean when you are consciously aware of your breath, when you're only aware of your breath in meditation, when the thoughts stop and you are with your breath and all your awareness is focused on the breath, then you are in an awareness situation in the now, in the present moment. And that is a conscious awareness. Whereas when it's not only about your breath in the now, but when you might be aware of your breath and at the same time be aware whether it's a deep breath or a shallow breath, and whether this is your normal way of breathing or a different way of breathing, then it's not yet a full total stage of consciousness. It's awareness, but it's not completely in the now, because you compare with your way of breathing in former times, or thinking of judging or assessing this your breath compared to something. Does that make sense, Nita?
Yeah. So one more follow-up question. So consciousness can only be attained during meditation?
No, I wouldn't say so. As far as we just
as long as we are with the breath, and
yes, and I'm not even sure if it's only about the breath. Vindhya also had a very beautiful example with when you're consciously aware of a flower.
Mm-hmm.
You are aware of this whole flower, just the flower, maybe with way more with your senses and engaging with the moment with this flower. This is a conscious awareness as well. Vindhya, would you say that I got that right? Or please add if I didn't.
Because it is, I've read this book, I can't remember the title right now, maybe it is Power of Now or one of those I've been reading. So exactly what you said, if we go out and look at a flower, usually we are never consciously aware of its beauty. I mean, we are usually, our mind is saying something, you're thinking, oh, how, something else, it's making up a story about it or something, but not being exactly, block all those thoughts and just enjoy that moment. That's a hard task. It's not easy to do, but being consciously aware, I think, is a practice that we all need to try, because that's when you truly connect with the energies of the nature. Like Nita, you're asking for example, but I just feel like so many, that's what I was explaining, right? Tasks that we don't do conscious, like you drive, you don't really consciously drive. You're not aware that sometimes you're not even aware, did I lock the door? Did I do, because you're just doing those without any being present. I think being present is a key word. You're not present in that. It's just somehow you're used to it and you do it. If you're present and you're actually aware of it, like how Sreedharji said, it's consciously being aware. So I think it's a lot more deeper, and you will know it, it'll not just happen. And you're like, it's not like did I watch a movie or did it really happen? There's no question like that. You actually know it. That's what I think. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying good words here, but I'm trying to figure out what to say there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think you chose quite good words there. Thank you, Vindhya. Veena, you go. Yeah. Please share with us.
Yes. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So, because someone said name an example, I have an example that I experienced myself. Let's say when I was around teenager, or maybe even younger, let's say around 12. I was in Croatia at the beach, and I remember I felt so content and happy, and I was thinking to myself, if I could just somehow keep this moment to remember. Yeah. And in this moment, how do you say, I was trying to slow paced just life. I looked at the people, I saw the sky, I felt the wind, I smelled the ocean, and everything was like slow motion for me in this moment. And I don't know how I was so conscious in this moment that till this day, and I'm now 41, I still catapultize myself to this moment. It's like it became eternity. So not only the situation, but also how I felt in this moment. So that's for me being conscious about something. Yeah.
Thank you, Bina. Beautiful, beautiful example. I can relate to that. I had some, let's say, moments in nature where something similar happened to me, and it seemed as if time was more in slow motion, and it also seemed as if the 3 dimensions that we live in, even appeared to be larger, so more space than I was aware of before. Although it was still the 3 dimensions that we exist in here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Nita, what would you like to share?
That's good. Yeah, no, that's clear. I think that's one of the reason, some of the moments we remember it so well, even from our childhood, because probably we were very, very conscious at that time.
Yes, it's interesting that consciousness kind of leaves us somewhere around the teenage time, maybe, and we get back to the interest in connecting with it again later on in life.
Yeah, no, I have a point over here to add.
You go, Archana.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are. I can hear you. You go, Archana. Please add.
Great. So, we say, being aware is nothing but like being mindful, right? So, what I personally feel is like when we use our 5 senses, like whether it's sight, hear, or so we just do as for the sake of doing. But when you really put your mind with whatever action you're doing, that would be called as being consciously aware. Only when your mind is involved in a true sense with that particular action that you're doing, including one of your senses, that would be called as being mindfully aware or consciously aware. And that's when you really connect deep with whatever you're doing, and that stays in your mind. Otherwise we just keep doing several stuff, which is just like it's like a auto, it's just on auto this thing mode. It just keeps, but we don't usually put our mind into it. So it just came into mind, thought of sharing this.
Thank you, Archana. That's another very enriching thought and angle. I would call it an angle on mindfulness. Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
But Jana, I don't think it's mind, right? We were just saying maybe mind in a different. We use mind very loosely here, and mind that thinks. And like actually, when Archana was saying the senses, it brought to me. We don't have just these 5 senses that these 5 senses are for us to connect with the outer world. We have senses inside to connect with ourselves, and those are the things I think we need to use for being conscious. The sense, I can't even, I remember hearing it somewhere, but I can't remember the exact one. Not these, I clearly remember that, these eyes, touch, all these are for us to communicate with the physical world that we are in. But the other senses are for us to communicate with the inner, like in energy and those. So those, when we connect with, I think that connects us to being conscious. Someone else can
what
put more.
I mean to say here was that, like, for example, as you were giving the example of, watching the flower. Okay, so we just walk around and, we see a number of things. But when we truly put our mind into watching that flower, that's what is, like, I was talking about being mindful.
Yes, I think you're saying
you're
mindful.
connecting with one activity at one given time. And that's what, like, when we say, like, being like totally aware and that particular moment with what we're doing, and that at that particular moment, that's when you are being mindful or consciously aware of doing whatever you're doing. I mean, I was talking about in that terms.
Yeah, I think that's what you're saying, to being in the moment, being present. So I'm saying it's more than just these senses. And I think that's what mindfulness is. We have like a deeper sense with which we connect. And I can't get the words, but yes, I think we're saying the same thing.
I know Jana keeps always so many, this mental tasks that, we have the answer somewhere deep down within us, but we're not able to really get the right words to express it. And thank you for this mental work, Jana. Thought-provoking, actually.
And it is really hard. Somebody was and I tried doing that, Jana and Archana. Like, we always never, it's hard task to do. When you say mindfulness without thought to observe something is not easy. It's like, because we stand there and we start thinking, oh, how beautiful it would be if this flower was inside, and if I could do this, if I could do that, whatever thoughts go on.
Chain reaction.
Yes, stop the thoughts and actually be in that. It's really hard, and it's like you have to be it's a different mindset.
Absolutely.
I just had this thought that came up to me from your discussion, that maybe, and it's just a maybe, right? It's just a thought, an idea, that mindful awareness or conscious awareness with our outer senses calms the mind enough for diving into the inner world after that, so that maybe the mindfulness and conscious awareness of the moment is the window to engage with the flow of mindfulness in our inner world after that, of consciousness in our inner world. Sorry. Yeah, so, but I'm not sure whether it's right or wrong. It just came up to me.
You're putting all the words that everyone has said together so nicely. I can hear Sreedharji say something there, what you said, and I can hear what I said, and I like the way you have strung everything together. I think you're right. Yeah, when the mind is not busy with all these other extra tasks of thinking, I think it's freed and to focus fully and absorb the thing. You said it well. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Can I say one example, and
yes.
Can you just correct me if it's right or wrong? So when, like, during my work, and I have my directors and VPs, and I'm coordinating this meeting and I'm taking the notes, but I am with utmost attention, focus on every word they are talking. Can I say that as a consciousness?
I guess there's a lot to consciousness to, I guess an easy yes or no is not there. It's a bit like how, so you focus on what they say to take that in, and
right. No thoughts, but I have to make sure that I understand it completely, what they're saying, and put it in right word. I mean, I understand and make notes of that.
So you fully engage in the flow of their thoughts and their words, and from there put it down.
Yeah.
How does that feel for you in that moment? Like, how do you feel in that moment?
So it's completely like blank, right? I'm just completely listening into that. I'm not adding my thoughts to it. I'm just taking the notes that's coming from them. It's at most silence. I cannot miss a single word.
And how do you feel in that situation? How does that feel to you? Let's say it like that.
Oh, it's not a very pleasant experience. I have to be very sure, cautious what's going on there. Maybe that's attention. Maybe that's focus.
Yes, I would like the hint for me currently is that that you say it's not a very pleasant feeling, because and that's just my experience so far, whenever I got to a conscious state, I felt very calm, let's say it like that. And I'm happy for everyone else to share the experience here as well, because I don't want to say that my experience is the only one that counts. I can just say whenever I was able to get into a state of conscious awareness and from there into consciousness, there was a calm, underlying, confident feeling that unfolds somehow.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, now I can feel some of those situations when it was completely pure silence and everything was like very, very peaceful, just like the water, it's not moving, stagnant.
Yes, but it's like I just don't want. I'm not in the position to say that's right or wrong, right? I can just share and exchange with you my experiences and about what we have been talking here. I'm not. I don't assess your experience from my reality. I hope that makes sense to you. I would never put myself into that shoes, because there's no one master on your life and your experiences. No one is a better master on them than you are, of course.
Right. Nita, when you say that, I do feel like, yeah, you're saying you're not thinking at all and you're doing, it does sound like the act of being conscious. It is true. And so I too cannot say, and maybe it is, but I would add like what Jana is saying, then it should afterwards, how did you feel? You should have, everything should be clear in your head. When you're conscious, I think everything is very clear and it's there, and there is no, like, you remember everything. It's all, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Being conscious should have helped you do that. And when you were saying this, interestingly, I was thinking once my son, and I think someone else also mentioned, the process of reading. When we read, we usually, our mind is also reading with us. It is reading back to us. And there is a way we read, and that's very slow. We think and we read, we think and we read, or we connect with it and something. But there is a faster way of reading where you're not thinking. It's just you're absorbing. It's like you're looking and it's coming. I feel that maybe, I don't know, when you were saying you're listening to them and without thinking, I was thinking about this reading process, and I feel that's another, that's called a fast reading or conscious reading. I don't know how to say. Maybe other thoughts from other people we can talk about.
Thank you very much. Thanks to all of you for the lively discussion and for sharing all the thoughts and experiences. I gained a lot of new thoughts and insights on the aspects of consciousness, though we probably didn't, I would say, bring up the answer, the ultimate single answer to such a broad question or topic. But thank you very much. I gained a lot from it. I hope you did as well. And I'd now love to guide you into meditation for another 20 minutes, I would say, because we really had, time flew by with our discussion. So for the next time, please find your way into a comfortable position. Whatever position feels best to you. This can be sitting or lying down. Take your time to fully arrive in this position. Get aware of some last movements you can make to feel a bit more comfortable. And with your next inhalation, gently close your eyes. Clasp your hands, lock your fingers, and bring them to rest wherever it feels most comfortable. In your lap, maybe on your stomach, wherever your hands lie really, really comfortable. And now bring your attention towards your nostrils and get aware of how they feel when your inhalation comes and how they feel when your exhalation goes. There's nothing else you have to do. Nothing to strive for or to achieve. Only focus on your breath around your nostril. How does your in-breath feel around your nostrils? Is it chilly, refreshing, full of clarity? And how does your out-breath feel around your nostril? Warm, dense, there is no right or wrong. Only let your breath come and go and observe how your inhalation feels and how your exhalation senses around your nostrils. With every inhalation, you soothe your mind. With every exhalation, you soothe your body. And as your breath comes and goes repetitively, so does change what you sense around your nostril. With your inhalation and your exhalation. And when your mind distracts you and tries to pull you into thoughts, only smile at it silently and bring your attention back to your nostril. Your breath comes and goes. With every inhalation, you soothe your mind. With every exhalation, you soothe your body. And now follow your breath into your body from your nostrils with your next inhalation. Where do you feel your in-breath filling your body? Your nose, throat, chest, stomach, maybe your abdomen. And follow the journey of your out-breath as well. Where do you feel your out-breath? Your abdomen, chest, air pipe, nose. Follow the journey of your everlasting prana into your body with your in-breath. Out of your body with your out-breath. Nose, chest, belly with the in-breath. Belly, chest, nose with your out-breath. There's nothing else to do. Only observe the 3 steps of your inhalation and the 3 steps of your exhalation. Nose, chest, belly with your inhalation. Belly, chest, nose with your exhalation. And when your mind wanders towards thoughts, and it will, silently twinkle with the eye towards the game of your mind and bring your attention back to your inhalation and your exhalation. Nose, chest, belly with your inhalation, belly, chest, nose with your exhalation. With the 3 steps of your in-breath, you soothe your mind. With the 3 steps of your out-breath, you soothe your body. Slowly it's getting time to come back. Drop the attention on your breath and get aware of your surrounding again. Simply get aware of the walls, the ceiling, the floor, whatever is there around you. Now, focus on your arms. Stroll down to your hands with your attention and move your fingers. Stroll upwards into your legs, down to your feet, into your toes, and move your toes. Take up your hands, unlock your fingers, and put your palms in front of your closed eyes for some moment. Simply get aware of the energy from your hands in front of your eyes. Take a deep breath in and let go through the mouth. And another deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Put your hands down and in your own time and at your own pace, gently open your eyes. I hope you're all back with me. Thank you for the beautiful session and the meditation. If you feel like sharing anything, please feel free to unmute yourself. And if not, it's totally fine to remain in silence. Thanks to all of you for attending. I wish you an amazing Friday, a great weekend, and hope you all stay well, healthy and safe. Goodbye.
Thank you so much, Jana. Thank you for being there. And I could not hear the session completely, but I'll get back to YouTube and I'll enjoy the wonderful conversations. I was hearing here and there because I have guests, but thank you so much, Jana.
A pleasure. Enjoy the evening and goodbye to everybody.
See you all.
Bye.
Yeah. So friends, we will all see each other again in the morning for the breath and meditation sessions. So till then, have a lovely, lovely weekend and namaste to all. Bye-bye.